Hey, Jeff, we're back with the Tandy 1000 specific model SL/2. And in earlier videos, I'd mentioned that I actually had a Tandy 1000 keyboard, which is a little bit different than the enhanced keyboard that I had been using. So I've got some other fun things I want to do to the Tandy today, but I want to get this rocking and rolling. It is yellowed, very dirty. This will all clean up quite nicely. I'm not sure about what to do with these pieces. We're going to take it apart and see, but going to definitely take apart and remove all the keys, and we're going to Retrobright. I'm going to show you how I do it. Lots of people do it different ways. Basic process is the same. It's got little feet on it here, I guess, that raises up the keyboard. And yeah, Tandy 1000. Looks like we're missing one of the feet down here, so we'll replace that and get that cleaned up as well at the same time. I also think whilst I'm doing it, I don't know if it shows up on camera, space bars frequently are made out of different plastic and they tend to yellow. So I think I'm going to yank this one as well and throw that in the tank too. I want to get these going so that while I'm working on the next effort, these things are brightening up. This space bar will go fast, and not opened up one of these before. I usually take off the space bar pretty much last and put it on pretty much first. And so we're going to see how this goes. They always have those support bars in them and stuff like that. So, all right, that's going to come off okay. No broke. Ooh, nice switches on these. Basic contact ones, but feels really good. I hadn't actually fully opened this up yet. I had just vacuumed it out. Tip I use for vacuuming, had a bad experience. I use shop vac, right? One time I look and I use a shop vac that has a bag insert inside, right? Collect all the stuff, you just take the bag, you throw it away. Bag has a small hole opening though, and otherwise you can't get into the bag. You hear where this story's going? Vacuuming, I get done, keys missing. Yep. So there's Jeff out on the side of the street, dumping the bag out little by little, looking for the key. So you know what I do now? I've got some cheesecloth, and between the brush and the hose, I stick the cheesecloth in there. I just throw it, wrap it around, hold it with my hand, nothing fancy, and vacuum that way. Now, what's really disgusting is in seeing all the crud that's on the cheesecloth when you're done, but I just flip it and vacuum off stick it in the hose and vacuum that off. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do to make this easier, and so we can just take a look at everything, I'm going to go ahead and remove the complete back of this handy dandy screwdriver. I don't mind using them so much for taking things off. Wow, a lot of these screws are super loose. I generally, if I use it, am super careful though with putting things back on, and I might only just slightly tighten them down, but you know how it is with the plastics, and worried that I will mess something up. So this is disgusting on a major level. Try not to lose my screws. This is really nasty. All right, we got our legs. Set those off to the side, and I heard at least one more screw. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, got them all. Oh, and what did we do before we started this process? Yes, I can research for a little while and I can find it on the internet, but I took a photo of the keys. Did that before I even got started. So this thing is really nasty, but I'll vacuum and clean that off camera. Okay, try not to touch my face on this one. But here's my process that I go through. First, I want to get all the grime off these. Usually what I will do is throw them in a large Ziploc bag, little Windex, not fully concentrated, and water. Let that sit for a little bit, just kind of loosens it a little bit up. Take toothbrush and then I work it down on the toothbrush. And hopefully we can kind of remember I'm not going to leave one key undone, so we're just going to have to see what we get here on the photos. Yeah, so Windex, toothbrush, rub them down. I'll blow off a little bit of the water with my little duster, and then I'm going to show you the Retrobrighting setup. So if you don't have a pair of keyboard removers, thingy dingies, technical term for those, get some. It makes this way easier. You pull them off a little bit more evenly. So interesting keys. Can you see this? Look at those style. Huh. Okay, first time taking apart one of these. No springs, yay. I love some of my Commodore Amigas with the thousands of springs. Okay, I've got the enter key and the space bar. Let's see if we've got any extra. Wow, no extra hardware on the enter key on this one. No support springs or anything like that. I'm going to take this guy off. That's interesting. The support is inside, like the metal bar though frequently is on the outside. This one's on the inside. So we've got two of these where the insert came out with them. I guess I was a little too rough on them. So I'm going to just carefully pull them out. Okay, and then let's get that reinserted. All right, and then this is F3 that apparently I was also a little heavy-handed with. Let's see if we can get it out. Might need to get a little bit smaller screwdriver. Of course, you want to be real careful with the plastics on plastics. Yeah, let me get something different. Let's see, let's try one of these. See if we can get in there just a little more gently. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is finish getting this key on the keyboard. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to go dump these in a bag of the Windex, Ziploc, all that stuff that I mentioned. Let those kind of soak for a little bit. We need to do some vacuuming off of some things and stuff like that, and then fully vacuum this off and start cleaning it off. Okay, let me show you my homemade setup that I've got going on here. So clear plastic tub, I just throw clean wrap, cellophane, whatever you want to call it, on top to create a heat barrier on this. My wife is an incredible gardener, and as such, she's created a little indoor grow room for the winter time. So what I've done is I've borrowed, not absconded with, borrowed some of her grow lights. I've got one above, I've got one below. So what I'm going to do is I'll shove this in. It's just a thin layer of hydrogen peroxide, 40%. Thin layer keeps the keys from not tipping over. And so a thin layer, just carefully put the keys in. Use gloves because this stuff will eat at your fingers, and that's less fun. Like I said, I'm going to cover it up and then position it right under the lights, and then it gets above and below, so a little bit more even. Sometimes I even have a box that I'll do that has aluminum foil around it to reflect off to the sides if I need that to happen as well. All right, I'm back, and look at what we have now. I don't know if you remember, I couldn't figure out how to take these off without breaking the case. All the keys used to look this yellowed. They're exact match for that. And now take a look at her. She looks beautiful. Clean the case, little magic eraser, some spots and things like that. I forgot to do in some of these little grooves on these little feet that kick out, so I'll take care of that real quick. That's super easy. Otherwise, didn't take a video of me putting all the keys back in. I think we've all seen in that plenty of times. Yeah, it's just a kind of just a quickie to show you the kind of some of the process we use for retrobrighting around here. Pretty much the same thing for all the other stuff. Sometimes if it's really big, I will take it outside and do the paint on with the cream. It tends to blotch for me. So a lot of times what I may do is still just use the tub, increase my shelf height, and do like a side and a side and a side. I'll time it so that I'm like, okay, we're gonna do 1 hour, and then exactly 1 hour and 1 hour and 1 hour. And usually if I can get it blended nicely, you don't see any lines where you flipped and stuff like that once you get it to a certain level of whiteness. And as long as you get it to the same level of whiteness, I don't have any problems. So things like, I don't know, Mac Plus case, right? Something that's a little awkward and you can't do all the sides all at once. That's how I kind of go about that process. I do have some smaller tubs. Sometimes if it's just a mouse case or something similar, I'll go drop it down, not using as much product and things like that. Hey Jeff, where do you get that hydrogen peroxide? Well, in my area, I can get it at Home Depot. I'm out in the sticks though, and Home Depot's 45, 50 minutes away. Amazon, of course, as well. I have had some bad experiences though ordering it on Amazon and mail ordering that kind of stuff. So it's hit or miss on it. I like the UV lights inside. I can control the lighting better. I don't have to worry about clouds and any of that kind of stuff impacting it. I know an hour is an hour is an hour with the same conditions. The lights are expensive, but we had to buy them for our garden stuff. So, you know, just repurposing those, not a big deal on that. But outside just adds a lot of variables that I don't like to mess with. Angle of the sun, clouds, you name it. Much prefer inside for the stuff that we do here. Okay, if you got any questions on the retrobrighting process, leave me a note in the comments. Glad to answer anything. I try to check those out all the time and respond as best I can. So with that, I'm gonna call this little one. And the next step is to do the XT-IDE adapter in the computer and hopefully get a hard drive going in that. I started looking at that a little bit and I may need to phone a friend. We'll see. All right, have a great day. Woo, we're out of here.